You're welcome to Gospel Vibes Gospel Channel.
One of the reasons for which we might enter into seasons of darkness is testing. I'm just trying to bring the faith people into the economy of this emphasis. Testing. There's something called testing. This is not a test that you will need to go through in form of an interview that human beings put together. I'm talking about a test that the Spirit comes to test you. When the Spirit is testing you, the context is different from a mortal human test. It's a time of darkness. Because Jesus knew the nature of that test and the possibilities that are bound with that test, he decided not to eat. The decision to fast was not part of the contract of the mission. He was going into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil, not to fast. His fasting was his own strategic response to the kind of thing that he is about to encounter in that place. So we have a season of darkness that came. If you ride the Mercedes-Benz E-Class came to pick me from the hotel this evening. So I've studied a lot about Mercedes-Benz. In fact, I didn't want the ride to end. It was a cruise. Now, on the Mercedes-Benz car, you have 10,000 points where they welded it. 10,000 points. On the Mercedes-Benz car, before it can be called Mercedes-Benz engine, it must have ran on the bench for 1,000 hours. That's a company-based test to see if that engine meets their own company quality. But what Jesus was going to encounter in the wilderness was not a company-based test. It was an outsourced test to devils, to demons. And there is no understanding where they will come from. If it's a company-based test, it's a controlled test. Okay, we're testing for tensile strain, tensile stress, capacity. To outsource, go and be tempted by the devil. I'm just trying to show you possibilities that can occasion seasons of darkness. And because in the situation of a test, God's endorsement is behind that test, so the devil has authority. He has authority to run that test according to his own specification. And God would not put you up for test if he doesn't know that the capacity of what he has built inside of you surpasses anything that the devil can throw at you. So if you see the kind of test that God can allow around your life, it is suggestive of how you have attained before him. Because he is the regulator of temptation. The Bible says that he will not allow you to be tempted more than you have the capacity to bear. And yet in that temptation, he will be expecting you to stay sensitive because he's going to make a way of escape. So he regulates the temptation. He regulates what comes to Darion, what comes to Henry, what comes to Davis. He knows your frame, your capacity, what you can bear, what you can survive. Season of darkness. I pray that our eyes will be open in the spirit, to be able to see the way of escape that he has made. Second reason for a season of darkness is a time where a season of darkness can be a result of issues that are obtainable in the courts of heaven. And that's the story of Job. The operating system behind what came upon him took place in heaven. Satan was allowed as a guest to come discuss Job. It was a meeting for the sons of God, and all the sons of God came, and they were there. Satan was also available. And then it was as if God forgot the agenda of the meeting and put Job on the spotlight. It was as if his conversation with Job was the real reason for which the meeting was called. So there are issues that go on in the courts of heaven. Sometimes God might want to facilitate an accelerated promotion in your life, so he invites Satan quickly. Say, hey, can you come? There's somebody here. And Satan is bad on Monday, bad on Tuesday, bad on Wednesday, bad on Thursday. So he will come with accusations. He comes and say, he doesn't have any good thing to say about you. So when he stands before God, he now brings his data. Notice that Satan did not need to reach out to a data bank to bring out Job's profile. Right on the spot, he brought, and he also revealed his oscillatory motion of how he has been walking up and down to and fro the earth. So he passed your house, passed your office, passed your compound. He has your data. So the moment he receives authority from that layer, he knows what to do, where to touch. Seasons of darkness. I know you don't like darkness, but you see, if you stay long enough, the day will go dark. You stay long enough. And there are a lot of things that God achieves through these seasons. One of which is it's an avenue for God to build stature in the lives of his people. When you see someone growing in the spirit, know that he contends with so many things. And the way God even designed it is that even the things he has secured for us in the spirit are not automatic, because Jesus died for the whole world. If it were automatic, that would have been something to implement in the Middle East, implement salvation in the Middle East. But you need to do something to enter into the economy of grace. God has already destined you for something, but he said, begin to contend for battle with them in battle, so that you can enter into the things that God has ordained. I know you don't like battles. You want to just stay. Then you are not ready for the real life, because the day of half measures and talk is over. We are at the end of days, and light and darkness will just be different by a very thin line. Number 3, one of the reasons for which a season of darkness might come can also be an outright illegal intention of the devil to bring a barricade around your life. So in view of the above, we have justified my topic, that even if you are praying, darkness will come. If you are fasting, it will come. I went to preach somewhere. There's a place in Nigeria called Gwakwalada. So many people prophesied to us. We had 2 children, and we were good with 2 children. We had stopped everything about giving birth and all of that. And then senior ministers began to call me, saying, you are in error. God has given you more children than you have. Hey, what's that? And then you go here, you see another senior. The senior ministers I'm talking about are people that have worked with God for so long. You need to have a good reason not to listen to them. And my wife had been saying, So we now decided to have a child. So she took in, I went for a crusade. I went for that crusade. I was so powerful in the crusade. Jesus, so powerful. I finished preaching the second night, and the demons were casted out there, went to fight my wife, because she had a dream and saw this creature with 4 horns and attempting to ram at her womb. She removed the first horn, removed the second horn, and then third horn, it was 1 horn left, and then she woke up. So it means it's inconclusive. And in spiritual things, when you have something that is inconclusive, make sure you don't conclude your spiritual work. So it was inconclusive. And then 30 minutes after the inconclusive dream, she began to spot, and that was how we lost that child. They were wheeling her into the theater when she called me faintly, as if she was going to die. And she said, whatever you do, don't come back. Go for that crusade. Go for that crusade. You know what? As powerful as the crusade was, we lost that child. No need to tell you of what God told me when I went to inquire. Why is this? I've been running along for your name. And I know you have enough power reserved in your arm to avert this situation. All right? So no need to bother you with what he told me. It's a time of darkness. I was not the one carrying the child, so it was easy for me to move on. But the one that was carrying the child, in fact, my wife didn't talk for like some days. Jesus, I had to. Now, the prayer point changed. I had to start praying for her and all of that. And before the Lord now. So it was not, we didn't choose that season would be like that. But it came, even though we were serving a living God. So what this session is about is to give us insight into how to manage those seasons, and actually how to migrate through them into the potentials that passage creates.
You're welcome to Gospel Vibes Gospel Channel.